Today, we're diving into a serious question that's on a lot of fans' minds. Who exactly was Joker? Folie Deux made for. Now, this movie sparked some intense reactions. Fans, critics, newcomers, everyone has something to say. A lot of people left the theatre scratching their heads, feeling like this sequel just wasn't for them. So, let's break down why this movie feels so alienating, and whether Todd Phillips and the team actually knew who their audience was supposed to be. Back in 2019, Todd Phillips gave us a Joker like we'd never seen before. Joaquin Phoenix's Arthur Fleck was this tragic, gritty character who showed us how society can sometimes neglect and break down people who are already struggling. This Joker wasn't the classic comic book villain. He was a product of a cruel world, and though we didn't sympathize with his actions, there was a sad truth to his story. Remember that scene where Arthur's dancing alone in his living room, fully immersing himself in a delusion while the world outside just keeps turning? That moment hit hard because it's raw and uncomfortable. That's the power of the original Joker. But here's the thing. Joker, Folie Deux, isn't that story anymore. Phillips decided to go in a completely different direction, and the film lost a lot of that tragic, relatable power. So, let's dig deeper into what changed. Todd Phillips clearly had strong opinions about the fan base that developed around Arthur Fleck. Some people saw Arthur as a tragic anti-hero and even a symbol against society. But for Phillips, there was a need to condemn any support or glorification of Arthur's actions. So, in Joker, Folie Deux, he took a stand, making it absolutely clear that Arthur Fleck is not someone to be admired. And guess what? This didn't sit well with fans of the first film. By vilifying Arthur even more and taking away almost any chance for us to understand him, Phillips alienated the audience who'd connected with the original Joker. Fans didn't agree with Arthur's actions, but they saw him as someone society had failed. In this film, however, Arthur isn't just misunderstood. He's stripped of the complexity that made us care. It's almost as if Todd Phillips didn't trust his audience this time around. He seems to say, look, if you don't see Arthur as a villain, then you missed the point. That attitude feels like he's pushing us away, rather than inviting us into this twisted world. The musical aspect. When news dropped that Folie Deux was going to be a musical, a lot of us were intrigued. Some were nervous, and almost everyone was asking, why a musical? Now, adding Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn had the potential to bring a fresh energy and unique dynamic. But did it deliver? Not exactly. Songs often felt out of place, disrupting the intensity instead of enhancing it. Imagine a scene that's supposed to be dark and introspective, and suddenly a song pops up that just doesn't fit the mood. It felt more like a jarring experiment than a meaningful addition to the story. Then we had the courtroom drama element. Now, courtroom scenes can add tension, character exploration, and layers of ethical questions. But in this movie, the courtroom scenes didn't really give us much insight. Arthur Fleck doesn't stand a chance of winning people over or adding new dimensions to his perspective. It's almost like these elements were thrown in for the sake of being different, without truly enhancing the narrative. If you're going to reinvent Joker's world, it has to elevate the story, not distract from it. And here's the biggest twist of all. It seems like Folie Deux isn't really about the Joker at all. I know what you're thinking. Wait. This is supposed to be the Joker movie. But Todd Phillips himself suggested that Arthur Fleck might not even be the real Joker. That's right. He may just be a precursor to the true Joker we know from Batman's world. So if Arthur Fleck isn't the real Joker, who is he? And more importantly, who is this film for? Fans of the Joker wanted to see Arthur evolve, to maybe even become closer to the chaotic, clever Joker we know from the comics. But instead, this movie tells us, nope, this guy's not your Joker. This is like saying, remember all that investment you made in Arthur's journey. Well, it doesn't really matter. It's tough to care about a story when you find out that the main character might not even be the main character in his own world. The movie's basically telling Joker fans, this isn't the character study you're looking for, and that's disappointing. But where does this leave Todd Phillips and DC's legacy with the Joker? Phillips took a bold risk, that's for sure. Don't get me wrong. Artists deserve creative freedom. But when the entire film feels like it's speaking to an audience of one maybe Phillips himself, it starts to feel like it's missing the point of what Joker could be. Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga delivered committed performances, and you can tell they put a lot into their roles. But without a clear purpose or audience, their performances feel, well, isolated. The film doesn't have the impact of the first because it doesn't know who it's speaking to. Truth? I'm not sure Joker, Folie Deux, knows who it's for. Maybe it's a film made purely for the artists behind it. Phillips, Phoenix, and Gaga. Maybe it's for fans of experimental cinema who don't need a strong narrative connection. Or maybe it's for those who want to see a clear-cut condemnation of a morally grey character. But for fans of Joker, or those who wanted to see Arthur Fleck grow and evolve. For those who wanted a deeper, grittier dive into his psyche, this movie missed the mark. Joker, Folie à Deux takes away the ambiguity that made Arthur Fleck so fascinating in the first place. I think at the end of the day, Todd Phillips underestimated the importance of allowing the audience to find their own meaning. Art doesn't have to be black and white, but it does need to resonate with people. Phillips tried to control the message so tightly that he ended up shutting out the very people who supported the first film. So here we are, left with a movie that feels like it's in its own little bubble. And honestly, that's okay. Not every film has to be for everyone. But when a movie follows such a huge hit like the 2019 Joker, expectations were high. Maybe one day Joker, Folie à Deux, will find its own audience, people who connect with its unique quirks and jarring choices. But for now, it feels like a film that's asking a lot from its viewers and giving back very little. So if you're asking, who is Joker, Folie à Deux actually for? The answer might just be nobody. Or at least, not the audience who loved the first Joker. That's all for today. Let me know what you think in the comments. Was this movie for you? Did you feel connected to it? Or was it just too far off the path? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives like this one. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.